Welcome to Thriving Entrepreneur with your host, Steve Kidd, third-generation minister and 30-year business coach. Listen in as amazing, world-changing authors, speakers, and coaches share their struggles and victories. And hear from best-selling authors' insight into how you too can live your life as a thriving entrepreneur.
This is Steve. Welcome to Thriving Entrepreneur. Thanks for being with me here today as we talk about you getting started. We talk about the things that you can do to get started in your business career, to really be successful. Many of you that are listening, you already are thriving entrepreneurs. You have an existing business, but sometimes we like to do a show that's just really focused on the folks that are looking to be able to get started. They're looking at, what do I need to do in order to create, start, run, be a successful business. Young budding entrepreneurs don't necessarily have to be young in age, but if you're just getting started off, guess what? No matter how old you are, you get to qualify today as a young budding entrepreneur who can maybe even talk better than me sometimes. I just really want to dive into, what does it take? What do you need to do to be successful? Yes, but more importantly, to get started on that road to success. What does it take? What kind of things are going to help you do, like I always say, get started right? Because as the saying goes, what starts out right ends up right. And what starts out wrong may never get right. We want to help you be able to succeed, to start powerfully, to know the things that all of us wish that we would have known when we get started, so that you can then have the leg up, you can have the successful start that you deserve, and really truly thrive in all that you do. That's what I really want to see for you. We've got 3 really amazing guests today, coming from a little bit different areas of business, but all experts at helping people getting started and building their business to the next level. And so I'm really looking forward to bringing them to you and helping you look at, what do I want to do? What is that thing that I should start with? And do I want to bring in an investor? Do I need to be selling something online, or is it more of a service? Am I a coach, or am I a service industry business? Should I maybe get into a franchise? What kind of things would be the best for you? We're going to look at a few of those today and just kind of talk with some amazing leaders who work with folks just like yourself to help them get started, to help them start out right, so that years down the road they can be able to say, I started this thing off right, and I'm so glad that I did. That's what we want for you, so that you then can dive deeply into your career of being an entrepreneur, and you can live as a thriving entrepreneur. You can have successful, powerful, amazing, great days each day as you move on your journey as being a thriving entrepreneur. I want that for you. I'm looking forward to seeing, hearing, and knowing all about your success. You can, of course, always hashtag Thriving Entrepreneur to let me know all about the things you've learned and the successes that you're experiencing. But with that, let's jump right into our very first guest. Join me in welcoming Fred Carey. Hey, Fred, how you doing today?
Awesome. Glad to be here. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good to have you here with us. Tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
I've been a lifelong entrepreneur, started several different companies, been a CEO of a public company, had a couple of public acquisitions, and grown some large private organizations as well. And about 4 years ago, I decided to work harder than I ever have in my life. And I started Idea Pros, which is a company to help young budding entrepreneurs build the next great thing.
So tell us a little bit more detail about Idea Pros. What kind of things do they do?
Yeah, so if you can think of Idea Pros as almost like a upside down venture capital firm and combined with an incubator, we really, when I decided to start Idea Pros, I saw that There's something like 550,000 new entrepreneurs in the United States every single month, which is almost double our birth rate. It's crazy how many they are. And most of them come from middle America, and they don't have the support system of going to venture capital or private equity, anything like that. So I created Idea Pros really to be a house that can do anything from complete partnership, where we take the heavy lifting from concept to nationwide launch, to small things like video courses on how to be a kick-ass entrepreneur, and whether or not your idea is a good one or not, what you need to consider to make it a good one, all sorts of things, and a lot of free stuff too on my blog on ideapros.com. We have tons of information for free. We also have a lot of information on my Instagram, official Fred Carey, where I post twice a day on basically having a positive mindset, personal development, entrepreneurship. And so we basically want to be that kind of one-stop shop that when somebody's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, they can go and get whatever they want, from free to full partnership.
All right, so somebody is just wanting to get started. They don't even know where to start. What would be the best advice you could give somebody just really thinking about becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, being an entrepreneur is, it's something where you got your nice cushy 40-hour-a-week job right now. You're making good pay, and you're going to leave that to work 80 hours a week and not be paid at all. So it's not for the normal person, if you will. If you have a mindset to be an entrepreneur, you just got to realize it's really, really hard. You're going to have a lot of failures. You're not going to know what you're doing. And frankly, that's why I started Idea Pros. So between the Idea Pros blog page and official Fred Carey on Instagram, you can find all the information you need to go forward without spending a penny. And then if you need certain resources, we have them for you as well. But it's a long journey, and it's never ending. And there is no permanent success. You can make it and then lose it all again in a couple of years and have to start over. But be prepared for that, and do your homework. You can't just go out, find something that you think is awesome, and then go out and start selling it, because that's one of the first lessons I learned, that what I thought was awesome, not a lot of other people wanted to buy. So find out what you have that other people want, and then run with that.
That is such a good point. So how does somebody even start to begin to decide what is a good business to go in versus just something that they think is cool?
Yeah, we have, think of it this way. If you're 30 years old and you live to be 90, you've already spent a third of your life doing what? You're approaching a halfway point, and what have you done? So when I tell people, if they want to make this leap, find the things that you're passionate about. Find the things that help you with whatever purpose you have in your life, and then find a way to take those things and make them something that people will pay for. And if you can align your passion with money, then you're going to be way ahead of the game. Don't just go do something because you think there's some temporary market in it, or it's an opportunistic thing you can be doing. Try to align what's going on inside of you with how you make a living, and then you can forget all about that life balance stuff, because you're going to be living the life you want to live 24/7.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So in other words, if you really hate traveling, don't get a job as a traveling salesperson.
That's a great example. Sometimes we try to look for examples that are a little bit further off than that, but if you're vegetarian, don't become a butcher.
Absolutely. All right. So what is the biggest mistake you see people making? I know there's a lot of them, but just generally speaking, you see them making right early on when they get started.
The number one reason that new businesses fail is that entrepreneur has created something that nobody wants. That's how sad is that? That's the number one reason. What does that mean? It means you haven't done your homework. You haven't looked at the market opportunity. You haven't looked at your competitors. You haven't looked at what the need is. You got to find the need in the marketplace and service that need. You can't just go, hey, my mom said it's a great idea, so I'm going to do it. You really have to understand what you're doing. You have to be very methodical and strategic about it, and make sure that you're creating something that people actually want and are willing to pay for. Number one, you created something nobody wants.
Mm. How many times do you run into people that even when they're selling something that nobody wants and nobody's getting it, that you see them just banging their head against that wall, trying to force people to take something they don't want?
You know, it's probably 90% of the people that are in that boat that react that way. And that's how they got in that boat in the first place, because they tend to be very stubborn. This is what I want. I know it's going to work. I'm going to be the next billion-dollar company overnight. And they think that people don't get it rather than they don't get it. And that's the biggest thing. If you're closed-minded and stubborn and don't want to look at the evidence and think that you have this amazing overnight success idea, you have to rethink before you lose everything you have.
Absolutely. You know, I've often heard said that the best time to make a decision is now, and the next best time to do it is a minute from now.
Yeah, that, you know, we tend to live our lives in our comfort zone, and the comfort zone is really the opposite of a comfort zone. It's really our prison. You know, it's like the caged bird that if they're in there for 2 or 3 years and you open the cage to let them out, they're not going to come out because they're afraid of what's out there. And what's out there is that big, beautiful world. We overthink so many things, and yet we want to live extraordinary lives. You're not going to live an extraordinary life unless you do extraordinary things. And extraordinary things don't happen in the comfort zone. They happen by taking decisive action and getting up tomorrow and doing it again. But you're spot on. The best time to do something is now.
So give us an example of just, you know, kind of an overview of some of your most popular services and how they can help a person.
Yeah, I think 2 things you need to do. You absolutely need to do if you want to be an entrepreneur. Number 1, you're going to talk about the person. Number 2, you're going to talk about the business, right? You need to know what it takes to be an entrepreneur. You need to know how to be a good one, because there are a lot of things that you need to understand when you're going down this road. The second thing is you need to know if you have a good business idea and how to exploit it and how to turn it into something meaningful. And so I put together 2 packages. One is purpose-driven entrepreneurship courses. It's 15 modules, and it really gives you an insight of my 40 years of experience of what it really takes to, number 1, understand the market opportunity, exploit the market opportunity, how to be a great leader as well as a great CEO, and to really learn how to do the right thing, because companies that do the right thing are more profitable, have more loyal audiences, and do better in general. And the second part is this program where we can take your idea, we do complete market research on it, the market size, market growth, market opportunity, competitive analysis, the persona of who your customers are and how to get them, and assist you with a pitch deck so you can go out and start raising money. The combination of those 2 courses is about $1,100. The course for entrepreneurship is $147 if you go to my official Fred Carey page and look at that IG100 discount code and click on the link and you can buy it there. $147 will really change your life if you're going to be an entrepreneur. It's going to give you 4 years worth of business school education, at least 2 years worth of business school education in the time it takes to do those 15 things. But arm yourself and then know what you're selling. Make sure that what you're selling is something that people are going to buy. You can do that with those courses.
That's awesome. And I know you said you've got lots of blog posts and other things that you've done. Is all of that on your website, or is there someplace else that they would go for that?
Yeah. So as far as the blogs, it's ideapros.com/blog. Again, that's all free. It's robust. It's all linked to video content as well. You could spend the next 6 months looking through all of that stuff and get every single thing that you need to really do well and give yourself an unfair advantage. It's probably the thing I'm most proud of, and I had hardly anything to do with it because I have my writers, my marketing people took my weekly content that I do a half-hour show on Facebook on Fridays. They take all that content and they created all these blogs, and it's really a wealth of information. It's all categorized, itemized. It's just perfect, free education for anybody. And then the other part about being a real kick-ass entrepreneur and trying to always do the right thing and personal development, they can learn all about that on Official Fred Carey, CARY, on Instagram. I have, I think, around 500,000 followers there. I post twice a day, and it's all good stuff to help you be a better person, whether you're going to start your own entrepreneurial journey or whether you want to be an entrepreneur at home, to treat your love life and your home life same way you would treat a business as an entrepreneur. Always do the right thing, always work harder, never give up. All that information is really valuable for people, and it's all free.
Love it. Well, before we go, leave us with some words of encouragement as to why we'd want to even, live and work as hard as we do as entrepreneurs. Why would we want to do that? Give us some encouragement.
Yeah. You have one life, as far as I am aware. And why not live that life to your fullest potential? Why not live an extraordinary life? And the way to begin living an extraordinary life is getting in touch with your dreams and turning them into realities. You're not going to do that behind the desk working for somebody else. Find your passion, find your purpose, find a way to monetize that, and then you're going to be living the life you want every single day without waiting for that thing that's going to happen in a year or in 5 years or in 10 years. That's never going to come. So get up, as you said earlier, get up, and the best time is now.
And give us the website one last time, Fred.
Yeah, so ideapros.com is my business, and Official Fred Carey is my Instagram page. Go on there, say hello, DM me at Official Fred Carey. I answer all my DMs. I get about 1,000 of them a day. I have people from something like 80 countries on there representing their countries, and love to have anybody else join.
Well, Fred, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's been awesome, and I love what you're doing. Keep it up for sure.
What is the idea that you have? That budding germ of an idea that's inside of you that you want to get out. You really are desperately wanting to share it with the world, to make the difference in that area that only you can make. That is so exciting when you have that thing and you begin to look at it, you begin to test. Is it real? Could it happen? And then as it grows and you begin to see it really expand and grow and blow up and take on a life of its own and do things that sometimes you never even imagined it was going to do. Very, very cool journey you've got in front of you. If you're just having a brand new budding idea, you need help to get started. You need some success traits to know and do so that you can be a thriving entrepreneur. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back here on Thriving Entrepreneur.
If you're an author who's on a mission, stand out with your brand out. Check this out, guys. Yep, everything's marketing, and marketing is everything. Your existing book can become a best-selling book, or even, hey, like mine, a #1 international best-selling book in 5 days. Listen, if your business isn't known by everybody, it's obscurity, and that's death, right? The same thing is true for your book. If you're not happy with the way your book is performing, you got that far and then it just fell off the face of the planet kind of feeling, go to yourbestsellertoday.com, schedule a talk with Steve, Steve. It's risk-free, it's guaranteed, it's proven. We've done it thousands of times. What are you waiting for? Yes, yourbestsellertoday.com. This time next week, you could have a beautiful seal on your book and get the attention that you deserve. Reach the people that you came to serve. Come on now. What are you waiting for? Grab a pen. Here we go. All you got to do is book a call. Yourbestsellertoday.com. Go to yourbestsellertoday.com. Book a talk with Steve. It's proven. It's guaranteed. It's going to happen. All you have to do is say yes to your destiny.
Welcome back to Thriving Entrepreneur.
This is Steve. Welcome back. Thanks for listening to Thriving Entrepreneur as we talk about getting started, about the things that you need to know to start off in your budding entrepreneur journey. Such exciting things are in store for you as we come together. We bring some amazing guests that can help you out as you're getting started. With that said, we've got another great guest here that's going to talk to us about some of the more intricate details of the things you need to know in order for people to know you exist. That's right. Now we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, marketing. With that said, let's jump right into our next guest. Join me in welcoming Bryan Kramer. Hey, Bryan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really good, thank you. It's been a good day, yeah. So tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Oh, let's see. Well, I show up as I am. So right now I'm an executive coach, keynote speaker, CEO of a marketing consultancy, and I am the father of 2 children, an incredible wife, and a dog who is as boisterous as all get out. Her name is Jessie, and that's who I am today.
So your title is the Zen Master to Digital Marketers. Tell me a little bit about what that means.
Oh, I wish I assigned myself that title. That was from Forbes, and they wrote an article, and I was truly blessed and honored to have that written about my work. I'm really focused on and have been focused around digital marketing and marketing in general my entire career up until about 4 years ago when I started to branch into executive coaching as well, and helping companies to build their businesses around digital marketing and marketing in general. So speeding along growth and trust.
Love that. And you're also the founder of the H2H movement. What is the H2H movement?
Yeah, that was in 2014 when my first book came out. There's no B2B or B2C. It's H2H, human to human, which was then well received and sent me on my way to eventually give a TED talk on that topic. That was really about how do we embrace the simplicity, empathy, and imperfections of life in life and in business.
Life, especially, I mean, I don't know that it's ever actually not been, but the last couple of years seems like it's been a little bit extra chaotic. How do we slow things down and really appreciate those day-to-day things?
Well, the best way is to get present. Slowing down is hard enough. We have a hard time slowing down our monkey mind. And so getting present is really the thing that I'd call upon for everyone out there who's looking to slow down. It sounds contrary to what you might think in terms of how to get more done or to be more in your life or receive more from the universe or whatever your higher power or whatever you believe in spiritually or even just believe in life in general. Getting yourself to a point where you can just be right here, right now, in the moment is your most supreme power. If you can do that, and when you do that, and there's some tools, to do that, then you can create anything that your mind wants to create. You have that power.
One of the things that I know from the stuff that I've read on you is that one of the things you're big on is consistency, especially in your marketing and your marketing funnels and in that human connection. So And this may be too big of a question to try to answer in just a few minutes here, but how do we create a consistent human-based marketing funnel that creates consistent revenue in our business?
Well, nothing's ever promised, but the human marketing funnel is really around how you show up, in using technology and humans together to create experiences, unique experiences and more human experiences, meaning how do you show up with, and I talked about this before, with simplicity. How do you show up in a simple way? Like if you were to think of a brand that is simple, you might say Apple. And then with empathy, what brand embraces empathy? And you might think, I know this contradictory to what you might think, but Amazon will return any product that you without any questions asked. So there you go. You've got empathy, and then you have imperfection, which is all of us. There is no such thing as perfect. Showing up and embracing imperfections, like Dove, maybe the soap company, who embraces the imperfection of skin, and everyone, who they're all inclusive around the world. So when you think about those three things, it really brings together, how you show up in what you just referred to as the human marketing funnel. So when you can create from those ways, instead of creating content or creating more things, start to create from those directions, from those pillars, and you're going to show up differently, and you're going to start to engage differently in more real conversations, more engagement. My favorite KPI is engagement. It's not clicks. It's not, even sales. It's engagement, because more positive engagement will get you more sales. It'll get you more of everything that you want.
You said so many things there, but I want to just go a little deeper on, the whole concept of positive engagements. What are those? How do we have more of those? How do we do that, especially in a digital world?
Yeah, positive engagement is listening to someone else. It's hearing what the other person's saying, and making sure that they know you're listening. It's not talking more. It's not talking over them. In digital, it's the same thing. It's the same body language you have in real life. And in real life, listening is an underrated or understated, I wouldn't say underrated, but understated trait or skill set or muscle that you might build. And so, there's three different levels of listening, and you can do this in your digital. And level one is where you're listening, but you're not really paying attention. Level two is where you're listening, but you're thinking about the next thing you're going to say. And then level three is where you're listening without any intent, without any desire to, or thinking with your mind about what you want to say next. You're just locked in on what that person is saying. And you know that when it's time to speak, you're just going to speak from your heart and know exactly what you need to say.
When we start thinking about things like social media and the other forms of social engagement, a lot of times that whole concept of listening feels like it's not there. You're doing a Facebook Live and it feels like you're kind of talking to yourself. How do you keep that conversational nature, that listening to what other people's needs are, alive when you're doing something, like whether it be a TED Talk or a Facebook Live or those kind of things?
People tend to be reciprocal. When you give and give and give and give and give and give and give, there's a lot there. When it's time for you to step up, your community is going to come forward. It's a lot, the law of reciprocity. And when you create a lot of giving, you're going to receive. It's going to happen more over time. You have to be patient. And when you go on Facebook and you do your Facebook Live, if you are a person who has always taken, you're probably not going to get a lot of response. But when you're a giver, and there's some give and take, but it's more on the giving side, that's going to come naturally for you.
I love that whole concept of really truly giving. I'd even go so far as to say giving with no expectation of anything in return, so that you truly are giving and you're not just really trying to manipulate people, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I totally know. Yeah. I mean, that's, it's one of the things that, that will create more abundance in your life by being there for someone else, and knowing that you're being of service or a servant mindset for others. And when you create more of that servant or serving mindset, like how can I support you? How can I serve you? How can I create more education around what's going to get you what you need in your job or in your life, and do it from a place of um, of heart and soul and passion, because that's what you love. It's your pure joy, and you want to create more of that. You're going to attract the right people. You're going to attract the right prospects. You're going to attract the right business. You're going to attract the right friends into your life. Everything will start to show up.
Hmm. I think really in some respects, everything of what you're saying makes way more sense than some of the more basic law of attraction, sitting around your house and just waiting for a bag of money to drop on you kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a mindset shift. We all have the ability to sit on our couch and wait for everything to come. And most of the time, when we're sitting on our couch, we're probably thinking with our saboteur. Like the saboteur comes forward and says, "You aren't enough. You're not doing enough. You should be doing more. You won't. You can't. You all those negative words that keep you down." And when you start to lean in and lean forward into more of that sage voice, the voice that says you are and you will and you can and you're going to, and you do that from the serving mindset, you're able to now create something and show up for everyone in a way that will attract, again, the right people into your life, and get you up off the couch, because now your saboteur isn't speaking. It's your ability to go and do and be. We all have that gift, and we all need to be able to pull on that right language inside of our head and take that sage approach or that sage advice that we all have inside of us. We just need to actually tap into it and make that work for us.
I love that so much. So speaking of sage advice, first of all, how can a person come to you and have you help them and get advice from you?
You're talking about me specifically, or talking about people in general?
Well, I meant you specifically, your company, people that want to work with you.
Oh, got it. Yep. Well, I mean, the simple way is to go to my website at bryankramer.com, Bryan with a Y, Kramer with a K. I always have to say that because people spell Bryan with an I most of the time. Thanks, Mom. And a lot of the content that I have is in this same direction, and more. Where I talk about other topics in marketing and leadership, and in community and people. And so how you get going is really just to immerse yourself in, let's get engagement going. Let's talk, like hit reply and let me know what's on your mind. I mean, the other simple way is just email me, Bryan@bryankramer.com, and throw out a thought, and let's start talking and creating a roadmap or a plan that's going to get you and your business to speed up growth for your company in a lot of different ways that you can show up, with leadership and in marketing.
With that said, give us one thing that somebody who's listening right now could do to begin to really go in the direction of everything that we've talked about today.
Walk over to a whiteboard or open up something like that on your computer, or get a big sticky pad out or notepad or whatever, and start mapping out where all the touch points are in your business. Where do you tend to show up in the world? Is it on social media? What social platforms? Do you have an email marketing sequence or automation? Do you have other things that you're putting out in different ways? Map it all out or throw it all down on and brainstorm that all out and just get it down. And then take a step back and look at it and go, where are the human touch points in all of this? How am I actually getting human engagement and turning this into a conversation instead of a one-way direction, a conversation that you're having just with yourself of one to many? You don't want one to many for very long. You really want to create something that's going to have that reciprocity and have the ability to reach out and actually talk with people, not to them or at them.
That's such great advice. I do encourage everybody to get Bryan's 2 books, check him out online, go to his site, work with him. That's BryanKramer, BryanKramer.com. Bryan, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the show today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I think I want to share with you, I really love how you show up in the world. I did a little bit of searching and looking at what you've done, and I think you live the human touch points in what you do. So I'm preaching to the choir here when I say all of this, but thank you as well.
Thank you. Digital marketing in general is going to be the lifeblood of your business. People need to know you exist. They need to be excited about what you do in the world and then come alongside you, come in with you to be able to do the things that you are meant to do in this world. When you're getting started, never ever put off marketing. Marketing is and always will be the lifeblood of the building of your business. And it will be that thing that helps lead you to being a thriving entrepreneur. We're going to take another commercial break and then we'll be right back here on Thriving Entrepreneur. Don't go away.
If you're an author who's on a mission, stand out with your brand out. Check this out, guys. Yep, everything's marketing, and marketing is everything. Your existing book can become a best-selling book, or even, hey, like mine, a #1 international best-selling book in 5 days. Listen, if your business isn't known by everybody, it's obscurity, and that's death, right? The same thing is true for your book. If you're not happy with the way your book is performing, you got that far, and then it just fell off the face of the planet kind of feeling, go to yourbestsellertoday.com. Schedule a talk with Steve. It's risk-free, it's guaranteed, it's proven. We've done it thousands of times. What are you waiting for? Yes, yourbestsellertoday.com. This time next week, you could have a beautiful seal on your book and get the attention that you deserve. Reach the people that you came to serve. Come on now. What are you waiting for? Grab a pen. Here we go. All you got to do is book a call, yourbestsellertoday.com. Go to yourbestsellertoday.com. Book a talk with Steve. It's proven, it's guaranteed, it's gonna happen. All you have to do is say yes to your destiny.
Welcome back to Thriving Entrepreneur.
This is Steve. Welcome back. Thanks for listening to Thriving Entrepreneur today as we talk about getting started. We talk about the things, the skills, some information, and all of that you need to know in your budding entrepreneurial journey so that you can get started powerfully. You can start out that thing that you're meant to do and have it make the difference that you're meant to make in this world. We would be remiss if we didn't have this last guest on this show today to talk to you about some things that you need to know if you're getting started in the e-commerce level, because you really need to know some basics and some skills so that you can not just have a product, but you can actually sell that product online. So with that said, let's jump in to our last guest. Join me in welcoming Ben Negendorf. How you doing today, Ben?
I'm awesome. Glad to be here.
How close did I get to pronouncing your last name?
I would say as close as anybody gets when they're given a shot. It's a hard K, and just like you said, so K Negendorf.
Okay. All right. So Ben, tell us a little bit about you and how you show up in the world.
Yeah, honestly, right now I I teach people to get started in e-commerce, and it's been honestly the most fulfilling thing I've done in my 7-8 years in entrepreneurship. Just seeing other people blossom in the way that I've blossomed in my life has been something more rewarding than I ever could have imagined.
So when it comes to e-commerce, there are so many different platforms, so many ways to go with it. What is kind of your preferred selling platform? Let's start there.
Yeah, so first off, Shopify is the only place that anybody should run e-commerce online. But specifically to what we do, it is a little bit different. So you can start your own brand of products. You can place a big order and sell on Amazon FBA. Drop shipping, as most people know it, is pretty popular. They've probably seen somebody on TikTok on their socials telling them that you can make a bunch of money drop shipping. I think specifically the model we teach is a little more actually building a real business, and honestly, it's one of the easiest way to get the business model itself is very simple. The work itself is hard, but the idea of it is quite simple.
I'm glad you said it that way, because I think a lot of times we get the idea watching videos that if you just simply go out and do a couple of really fun videos and have something for sale, that it's like Field of Dreams. Everybody's just going to come rushing in.
Yeah, and I got sold on that same dream. I got sold that I could make $2,000 a month and work off my laptop on a beach in Thailand. And while I do think that's possible, that's not exactly realistic either, right? I personally want to grow wealth. I want to build real businesses. I want to have meaningful exits. I want to change lives. And so I don't think I'm going to be doing that, making $2,000 a month living on a beach in Thailand.
Yeah, although living on the beach in Thailand does sound kind of nice.
Don't get me wrong. I love Thailand. I've been there. I've actually been there 4 times, but like the idea of just a passive lifestyle-y business never really appealed to me. I wanted to do something meaningful, and I definitely didn't want to do what I see too many people touting online, which is more turn and burn and selling junk products from China and finding the next hot trend. I wanted to build a real business.
That brings up a great point, and that is, how does a person even determine what they should sell? Trends come and go, and there may be something that's popular today that I haven't heard of, that by the time I look it up tomorrow, it'll be flooded and not a good idea. So how do you really decide what's the best product for me to sell?
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people fall short. They start thinking product. And I would encourage you, and I would encourage your listener, think about who you want to serve. So if you're in a business of e-commerce, especially if you're in the business of what we teach, which is a high ticket drop shipping, which is basically just being a retailer. Think Wayfair. Wayfair used to be 100 different retailers, and they all combined into one to become Wayfair. And they're selling higher ticket products, and they're drop shipping the majority of those things. And so if you're thinking about the person you want to serve, you're likely going to gravitate towards someone more like you. Like, I can't imagine, and I've done this in other businesses, I can't imagine serving certain demographics. There are people that you likely don't want to deal with on a day-to-day basis. You don't want to hear them complain to you through the customer service channels. You don't want to have to understand their needs, their wants, but there are a subset of people where you do want this. For instance, the biggest company I was part of is in the golf industry. I'm a golfer. I knew exactly how to speak to our customer. I knew exactly the problems they had. I knew exactly how they just wanted to shave one more stroke off their round, which made waking up and working on that business every single day super easy, and understanding the customer super easy, and doing the marketing super easy. And so I tend to encourage people to first focus on the human that they want to serve every day, someone they want to wake up and have conversations with and market to, and then think about the products that they consume. And that's where you should get started.
I love that so much, because there are so many times that people are chasing rather than being who they are, if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah. And look, you can enjoy the game. You can enjoy the game of marketing and chase that. But I've found personally in my own experience that, like, having a business where you resonate with the human behind the screen, that it just makes everything a whole lot easier.
Do you think it's fair to say these days, especially, that the more a person is focused on bettering the life of somebody else, the better that their life becomes?
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's something like, do everything you can to give your customer what they want, and you in turn will get you what you want. And I firmly believe that. I think if you listen to our podcast, the Dropship podcast, we literally give away the business model for free. We genuinely want to get as many entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs started as possible. And whether you buy my stuff or don't buy my stuff, or as my friend George says, whether you give me your credit card or not, I want to solve your problem. I want to give. And it turns out it just comes back around to you in droves.
So since you have a show called the Dropship Podcast, that must mean that you're a big proponent of drop shipping. For somebody who's been living under a rock or something or doesn't know what that is, can you explain to us how that process is and how powerful that could be for you?
Yeah, so drop shipping itself does get a bad rap, but the term itself, if you look into it, it is simply a method of fulfillment. So if I were selling the standing desk that I'm standing at, Apex Standing Desk, and I sold it on my site, standingdesknation.com, and you came and purchased it from me, I would then send the order to Apex Desk, whom I have a relationship with, and they would fulfill the order on my behalf. They would drop ship it to you, and then they would charge my credit card. So that is drop shipping in a nutshell. Somebody else is fulfilling the order so that you have less overhead, less risk, and you can get started kind of, quote unquote, risk free by just, putting in your sweat equity.
Let's talk a little bit about sweat equity. Legitimately speaking, since we're not talking about living on the beach in Thailand and just letting the wind blow through our hair and money blow through our ears, what should a person legitimately be looking at for time, effort, and energy if they want to have the kind of success like you did?
Yeah. So to give you a little context, I was working at a Walmart distribution center, driving forklift, throwing heavy boxes, working full time while I built and sold my first business. And so this is totally possible in your free hours if you're willing to put in some time. But I'd love to like break this down for you, right? So first off, like why high ticket versus smaller items? With high ticket, if I want to make $30,000, I only need to sell 10 $3,000 products. With low ticket, I need to sell 1,000 $30 products, right? So you're going to need less employees, less overhead. You're going to have less damages and returns, less customer service. And all of this to say, back to your sweat equity point, you can start all of this for less than $500 and all of your sweat equity. So just quickly zipping through what you need a domain, right? You need a URL. That's about $12. You need Shopify, as we spoke of before. That's $29 a month. You may need a paid theme. You may not. I didn't have a paid theme in my first business, but a nice looking theme could be anywhere from $100 to $300. We do give a free one to students of our course. You would need Google Workspace because you're going to want Steve at the domain you just purchased.com, not SteveKid@gmail as your customer service line. So you're going to need Google Workspace for that. That's $12. I would recommend an 800 phone number, a toll-free phone number. You can get that through Grasshopper for $40. You're going to need a little bit of branding. I like Fiverr. Very, very simple. $25 can get you a logo and some branding for your homepage. And then the biggest expense is Google Ads. That's where you're going to go acquire customers. And Google will give you a coupon: spend $150, get $150, spend $500, get $500. And hopefully in that $150 or $500, or rather $300 or $1,000, you're going to make some sales. And like we just determined, you're not actually paying for the product until you sell one. And so hopefully with that free money, you can make sales, get an order, use that profit to run more ads, and get the snowball rolling. The biggest expense, of course, is going to be your time. You're going to need to actually determine who you want to serve, the products they sell, go reach out to those vendors to build a relationship, actually set up a website, upload the products, upload the collections, set up your Google Ads, run ad. Like there are steps you're going to need to take where it takes effort. But honestly, I think you can start a business in the next 30 days for less than $500 with, putting in 3-4 hours a day maximum. Like if you just put in the work, you're going to get results.
You're talking about a pretty big mindset shift for some people. When you start talking about higher ticket items, how do you take from the person who is feeling the pinch themselves financially? And so it's not a bad thing. They just, they don't have the mindset around buying a $3, $4, $5, $10,000 product. How do you help them make that leap from looking at products that are in their price range to products that the people they want to serve could afford, and even finding the people that could afford the products that they want to do?
Steve, I've been on a lot of podcasts, and that is one of my favorite questions I've ever heard, because everything that happens in entrepreneurship, it happens in between your ears. So entrepreneurship is the greatest self-development game you will ever play. As you continue to break down the belief system that you have that things are or are not possible, you will continue to run into the next wall of your belief system until you just continue breaking through walls. Like you just continue ascending as a human being and realizing that a lot of the stories you were told as a child are not true. So this resonates with me deeply because I grew up relatively poor and we didn't really have a lot of things. And so when I first got into this business, I actually I had a hard time fathoming people spent this kind of money on products. But as soon as I opened up my eyes and started seeing a few of those things, my brain did what your brain did best and showed me more. Your reticular activation system is a wonderful tool. Like whatever vehicle you bought last, think about it, the vehicle and the color. Did you see any of those before you bought it? And after you bought it, you saw a ton of those, right? That's your reticular activation system at work. If you tell your brain to focus on things, it will start showing you. So to the person who just can't fathom, like I couldn't, people spending that kind of money, I like to recommend the touch point test. And all I want you to do is pull out your phone, your Apple Notes, a notepad, whatever you prefer, and just start paying attention to items you see that are $800 and above. And I think once you start seeing a few, likely you'll get the same ideas everybody comes up with first, which is fine. But as you continue to focus on those, your brain will start popping up. Oh, look at that. Like I have a student who sells commercial trash cans. I could not have imagined that was a high ticket item that people purchased, or bear proof trash cans or things like that. There are so many items that are that high price that are purchased every single day that once you start focusing on that, once you surround yourself with it, it does become a little bit more normalized and allows you to move forward. And of course, you're just going to run into whatever your next belief is that you believe there's no way this is possible until once again, you push through it and break through it and see that indeed your beliefs were wrong.
So you mentioned that you're teaching people with that. So first, and correct me if I'm wrong on this. So first, you're going to help the person understand it's not a product we're looking for. It's who do we want to serve? And then next, you're going to teach them how to be able to then find the products that person you want to serve needs. Is that a pretty good synopsis of that?
Yeah, I would say that is the genesis of our course. That's where you start, right? Who do you want to serve? What products are they buying? How can we go then locate the brands that exist in the space and go reach out to them to build a relationship? Before we actually reach out to them, we're going to build a shell of a website to show them, hey, this is what it's going to look like when I represent you. They'll say yes, hopefully. You'll sign some contracts. You will then upload the products to your website. And at that point, it's simply attaching your feed to Google Merchant Center, which pushes to Google Ads, where you can run some Google Ads and hopefully start sending the right traffic to your website and converting those into sales. And it might start pretty slow. I know my first month, I think I did 1 sale. I think in the second month, I did 2 or 3 sales. But it does start snowballing over time as you gain confidence, as you learn how to attract customers through the right keywords, not the wrong keywords. Again, no one's searching infrared sauna and is ready to buy a $5,000 sauna the moment they search infrared sauna. But if they're searching Sunray Baldwin 2-person infrared sauna cedar, they're more likely at the bottom of the funnel ready to buy. So if you can target those type of keywords in the beginning and start driving that bottom of the funnel traffic and making some sales, I think your life will be changed when you start making money while you're sleeping or while you're at your 9 to 5 or while you're working your side hustle and this is producing money. It'll surely open your eyes to what's possible.
So I'm sure there's people out there now that are like, pick me, how can I get in the course? So tell us a little bit about how they can get in the course, what it costs, those kind of things.
Yeah. So honestly, typically, if you're listening to this, you are a podcast junkie like myself. You like listening to audio. I would recommend just enjoying our podcast. Like we literally give away the entire business model for free. Obviously, I can't do that in 15 minutes here with you. But if you start from episode 1 and work through, you're going to have a really good general idea of this business model, how it works, what that looks like. If you're ready to dive right in and have someone, hold your hand through this process, you can find that at dropshipbreakthrough.com. That is spelled THRU. We have a free training on our website that walks you through that Genesis part that I talked about. Here's how we kind of think through the products we want. Here's how we find suppliers, things like that. And then at the end of the training, we make an offer to you. I'm not sure when this comes out, Steve, but like most businesses, I'm sure we're going to run a Black Friday offer. And so if this comes out anywhere around then, I hesitate to give you a place to go because you'll probably see a better offer at that time.
Love that. And, that's the Dropship podcast and dropshipbreakthrough.com, correct?
You got that. Yep. Dropshippodcast.com. And you can find that on YouTube or any of your favorite players, and then dropshipbreakthrough.com.
So Ben, because you went from, $500 working at Walmart drop center yourself, and building your own business, give us some words of encouragement about how we can do it and we can succeed with drop shipping.
I think not setting your expectations to the moon right out of the gates. I think too many people come into this business model or another side hustle running away from pain, right? Or chasing pleasure. I know I was $40,000 in consumer debt with my wife at the time, and a lucky $1,000 credit card showed up, and that's how I bought the original course I took to learn how this business model even works. And so I'm sure there are people sitting in that same situation who just need to get started and not come into it thinking I need this to work tomorrow or I'm going to be in big trouble, because that's just not how business works. You're going to need to put in the time, the effort, and your business is going to need investment to continue growing. So while this business cash flows really well, I would encourage you to stick that cash back into the business and grow the business. And then don't expect, again, the moon immediately. Like my first business, I built and sold in the first year for about 1 year's salary at Walmart, which back then was a huge deal for me. From there, I partnered with a guy and we scaled his business, where I learned a few more things, and he bought me out, which was enough to pay off all my wife and I's debt and some more. Side note, she asked for divorce at that moment. It was a funny moment in my life, but like that, I partnered again on the golf business. We went $1 to $11 million in 2 years, and then they bought me back out, which was a personal 7-figure victory. But that all didn't happen in the first 3 months or the first year. That took a long time to put in the work, learn all the skills you're going to need to learn, like Google Ads and SEO and conversion rate optimization and copywriting and how to code a little bit. You're going to need to learn a lot of skills so that you have leverage, so that you can lever up your business for real growth. But it's going to take some time.
Such good words of encouragement. Ben, thanks so much for spending some time with us here on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Steve.
Don't just have a product. Don't just wish you could make sales. Have an e-commerce platform, a marketing strategy, and have your business set up so that you can be successful, so that you reach the people you're meant to reach. You make the difference that you're meant to make in their lives. You give them the products, the goods, the services that they need for them to succeed, so that they too can really have a thriving life. Together, when we all do the things that we're meant to do, this world can be such an amazing, wonderful place. And I encourage you, if you've been thinking about it, now's the time. Jump in with both feet. Become that entrepreneur that you've dreamed of being, and then learn to thrive in all that you do. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to hear about your journey. Again, you can hashtag Thriving Entrepreneur on any of the social medias. I'd love to hear what's going on for you. Because remember, you are uniquely brilliant. You were created for a purpose. And oh, please know and understand, the world needs you. On behalf of the whole of the universe, let me be the first one to tell you, thank you. Thank you for stepping up, for being who you are, just while it's called today. Just maximizing today, being the best you can be today, and then going from there to the next day, to the next thing, to having excellence in all that you do today, to reach that one person that you're meant to serve, to help them out, and then reach to the next one and the next one, so that you too can really thrive, can really be all that you were born to be, and be a thriving entrepreneur. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to hear all about it. I hope that you are happy, safe, warm, and loved, that you know just how incredibly amazing you are, and that somebody specifically tells you that today. I want you to hear it. I want you to know and feel how amazing you are, so that you can have an amazing week. Until we're together again next time, I'll be thinking and praying for you and hoping you have a great week.
Thanks for listening to Thriving Entrepreneur today. If you want to get your question answered, send an email to questions@wehelpyouthrive.com. We look forward to you joining us again next time.
If you're an author who's on a mission, stand out with your brand out. Check this out, guys. Yep, everything's marketing, and marketing is everything. Your existing book can become a best-selling book, or even, hey, like mine, a #1 international best-selling book in 5 days. Listen, if your business isn't known by everybody, it's obscurity and that's death, right? The same thing is true for your book. If you're not happy with the way your book is performing, you got that far and then it just fell off the face of the planet kind of feeling, go to yourbestsellertoday.com. Schedule a talk with Steve. It's risk-free, it's guaranteed, it's proven. We've done it thousands of times. What are you waiting for? Yes, yourbestsellertoday.com. This time next week, you could have a beautiful seal on your book and get the attention that you deserve. Reach the people that you came to serve. Come on now. What are you waiting for? Grab a pen. Here we go. All you got to do is book a call. Yourbestsellertoday.com. Go to yourbestsellertoday.com. Book a talk with Steve. It's proven. It's guaranteed. It's going to happen. All you have to do is say yes to your destiny.